Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video via social media and with your friends via email. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance written by Russ Wiles and put out by USA Today titled, "Credit Card Interest Rates Are at a Record High. Here's What You Can Do to Cut Debt." According to this article, over the past year or so, total credit card debt has jumped by 11% despite rising rates as people borrow in an effort to maintain the standard of living that they enjoyed during the pandemic, observed David Kelly, Chief Global Strategist at JP Morgan Asset Management. I am not surprised that credit card debt has jumped by 11%. Life has gotten incredibly expensive since the start of the pandemic in 2020. Americans are now paying very expensive rent to apartment operators, and individuals who got caught up in the multiple offer mania in the past few years now have large mortgage payments. For some individuals, their mortgage payments have increased since they purchased their home because their property taxes and their insurance have gone up. For some of these people who barely scrape together enough money to purchase an overpriced house, they now need to find a way to pay to maintain that house. Think about how many people you've heard of that waived inspections in the past few years to be more competitive with their offer. Some of these individuals were completely unaware of expensive repairs that were needed. Now, they have to find a way to pay contractors to make those repairs, assuming they can get some of these contractors to return their phone calls. Some may rely on their credit card in order to pay for these repairs. Even for those who are not homeowners, life is expensive. Car insurance is more expensive, food is more expensive, daycare is more expensive, and in some areas, utility bills have gotten more expensive. This article goes on to indicate Bankrate's latest reading shows 47% of consumers are unable to pay off their card debts each month, up from 39% as of December 2021, near the time when the Federal Reserve started to hike rates. The jump in average credit card rates to 20.72% today from 16.16% 2 years ago is almost fully attributable to the Fed's rate hikes to tamp down on inflation. That is scary to me, that 47% of consumers are unable to pay off their credit card debts each month. With the high levels of interest being charged, this could snowball out of control for many everyday Americans. A few years ago, it was a lot cheaper to do a cash-out refinance from your house to pay off credit card debt. Now that we are in a higher interest rate environment, this is not as attractive. I'd like to comment regarding what the article said relating to credit card rates. It indicates the average credit card rate is 20.72%. I've seen percentages that far exceed that average. There are some retail cards that are charging in the low 30% range. I'm curious what your credit card rates are. Let me know about them in the comment section below. This article goes on to indicate, given such high interest charges, it doesn't take long to fall behind if you can't make sufficiently high payments. If that's the case, you might need to pursue some concerted help from nonprofit counseling groups such as Money Management International and many others. Here are my thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let it get to that point. Live beneath your means, adjust your lifestyle, and spend as little as possible, and then do whatever you can to bring in more income if necessary. There are things in life that you want, but don't necessarily need. People have basements, attics, garages, sheds, and closets full of junk that they thought they needed in their life, but they really didn't. Use the junk that you currently have. Some of it is simply collecting dust. Stop wasting money at the store or online for junk that you don't need. Take a close look at your food budget and see if there are ways to cut costs. Of course, consult with your doctor before making any dietary changes. What do you think about all this? Do you know people who blow money on junk they don't need, which has resulted in credit card debt in their life? If so, tell me about it in the comment section below. Have any of you driven through a neighborhood and seen a garage that is so packed full of personal property that the homeowners can't even park one of their cars in there? I've seen that, and it is absolutely crazy. Here's another interesting story today from yahoo.com written by Tom Haynes, titled "Cash Buyers on the Rise as Downsizers Take Advantage of House Price Falls." Now, this article comes out of the UK, but I think it's important to stay apprised of what is happening across the pond with regard to real estate. According to this article, 1 in 3 homes are being bought in cash as mortgage rates squeeze buying power, a new housing index has found. You might wonder, where are all these young first-time homebuyers getting cash? Are they some type of meme coin trading geniuses? Well, this article doesn't go into depth about this, but if it is anything like what is going on here in the United States of America, many young people are getting money from their parents. Many parents have seen their net worth increase dramatically in the past decade and a half, not just with real estate appreciation, but also with appreciation in their investment accounts. Do a search online for yourself and you will find articles relating to this. I previously made a video about this here on the channel. This article goes on to say that house prices had fallen in 4 out of 5 markets in Britain. However, the scale of house price drops was below 5% across all of them. Here in the United States of America, real estate prices have fallen in some markets around the country. Real estate is very local, so this is not the case everywhere. In the areas where real estate has slowed, this is likely due to the rise in mortgage rates. I checked rates today from one lender, and the 30-year fixed rate insured conventional mortgage with no points was 8.25% for an ideal borrower. Those with less than ideal credit will likely be paying a lot more than that. I may be completely wrong here, but I believe if we see a steep correction in equities or a crash in equities, the number of parents giving their kids money to buy a house will dry up. Many will tighten their belts and try to ride out the financial storm. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I read another interesting article today on Yahoo Finance written by David Hollerith, titled "Bad Loans Are Becoming a Real Problem for Regional Banks." According to the article, office buildings in Southern California, a healthcare operator in the Northeast, a bankrupt oil and gas company in the Atlanta suburbs were among the assets that became the source of lending problems for regional banks in the third quarter as corporate borrowers in commercial real estate began to show more signs of strain. I feel a little bit of deja vu going on right now. This is so reminiscent of what happened during 2008. All I can say is, here we go again. But then again, I could be completely wrong. The author of this article goes on to say, of 18 regional banks analyzed by Yahoo Finance with assets ranging from $50 billion to $250 billion, 15 reported jumps in non-performing loans when compared to the same year-ago period. The average rise was 80% more than the third quarter of 2022 and up 8% when compared to the second quarter of this year. Here are my thoughts. Yahoo Finance only examined 18 regional banks. I wonder how big of a problem this really is. It would have been interesting to have a larger sample size for this study. I'm not surprised that there are a lot of bad loans out there. In recent years, money has been cheap and easy. There are a lot of people on the take with these deals. There are a lot of people who have a vested interest in seeing that these deals get done. A lot of people involved with these transactions can make a lot of money. I often wonder how many of these loans are extended to businesses and individuals that shouldn't be. Back in the early 2000s, I was shocked that lenders approved me for some of the loans that I wanted when I was accumulating rental real estate. I probably shouldn't have been approved for some of those loans back then, but that was a different time than today. It is going to be very interesting to see what transpires with all of this. I truly wonder how exposed some of these regional banks are to bad loans. And I wonder if we could possibly see a banking nightmare at some point, depending on what happens with our economy moving forward? According to the author of this article, now a steep decline in property values and rising interest rates are making things even more challenging for borrowers as lots of debt comes due for repayment. There is a total of $331 billion in U.S. commercial and multifamily mortgage debt set to mature in 2023, according to a second quarter report from the Mortgage Bankers Association. All of the bank regulators are working with banks that have, concentrations of troubled real estate to work it out. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said earlier this month at the New York Economics Club. Here's my opinion. This is coming from the same Federal Reserve that told us inflation was transitory. Do they really know what they are talking about when it comes to what is happening behind the scenes with regulators and these banks? I personally am a bit skeptical. I think some of these regional banks could end up repossessing commercial properties and then be in a situation where they have to figure out how to pay the taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, etc. And then they have to figure out how to find buyers for this commercial real estate because they don't want to be landlords. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. I read another article today with an embedded video on yahoo.com put out by NBC Universal titled, "School Districts Aim to Address Teacher Shortage Through Affordable Housing." According to the article, school districts grappling with teacher shortages are getting creative in their efforts to attract candidates by building affordable housing for faculty to live closer to the classroom. I think it's great that some school districts are commissioning buildings for teachers to live in. As per the embedded video in the article, 2 of the teachers who were interviewed were each able to save $6,000 in a year's time that they plan to use to purchase a home of their own with. They were able to save this money by living in the building that had been built for teachers. Now, on the flip side of the coin, I think more needs to be done to pay teachers a more livable wage so they don't need affordable housing commissioned by a school district. I personally think it could be a national security risk not having the best teachers in our schools nationwide to educate the next wave of adult citizens here in our country. With regard to paying teachers a more livable wage, some comments beneath this article seem to echo my thoughts. One commenter writes, or they could pay them a salary that reflects their level of education and level of responsibility and work needed to perform the job. Another commenter writes, how about paying them enough to live in the community as their students and parents do? Here's another commenter that writes, pay them to be comfortable in the social economic conditions for the community instead of trying to establish some kind of socialist housing project. What do you think about all this? Do you think it is great that affordable housing is made available for teachers, or do you think teachers need to be paid more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Please keep in mind, nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video via social media or via email with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.